Hey guys, how's it going? So today I am going to do a early access review of a game called Teslaforce. Now, without even saying what Teslaforce is about, I can really easily compare this game to Crimsonland. In fact, the game Crimsonland was developed by the same dev. So if you go onto Steam and you look at Crimsonland, obviously a lot of you will hopefully know what Crimsonland is. It's a twin-stick shooter game that was released in like 2003. I actually distinctly remember playing this game while I was in high school, and it really was quite an awesome game back then, and it's still quite a playable game even today. So the same devs that made Crimsonland, which is a very good twin-stick shooter, are making this game, or have made this game, even though this game is not yet released as of the time of recording this video. It actually releases later this year in August, but the developers were nice enough to provide me with a pre-release key so that I can check out the game. So the game doesn't have a price yet, and it really doesn't have a release date yet. Even they changed the release date due to the coronavirus and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But then anyway, I expect the game to cost either $15 or $20, but don't hold me to that. It's just a guess. There's really no information currently on the actual price of the game. But if you look at all of the other games that this particular developer have made, they've made Crimsonland and about almost 10 other really good rated twin stick shooter games on Steam. If you go look at their Steam page, you will see almost all of the games that this developer makes are twin stick shooter games, and almost all of them are rated 90% positive and above. So they really know how to make a twin stick shooter game, and they are making another twin stick shooter game in the form of Teslaforce. So Teslaforce is your pretty much generic twin stick shooter. As I said, you can pretty much compare it to Crimsonland. Crimsonland is a very good twin stick shooter, and I can already see, even though this game is currently in alpha stage or early access stage, I can already see that this will turn out to be a pretty competent twin stick shooter. It does have some lasting progression, but honestly it's just going to be your generic rogue-lite twin stick shooter game. Now, I'm not really a fan of rogue-lite mechanics. I by far are someone who would prefer lasting progression. I just really prefer lasting progression, simply because that's the kind of player that I am. I don't really like dying in games, and when I do die, I prefer to keep my progression, like in RPGs and stuff like that, like Skyrim, Witcher 3, those kind of stuff. I like a lasting progression, but in this game it is a roguelite, so when you die, you lose a bunch of stuff, but you don't lose everything. You keep certain stuff like weapons that you have unlocked. You keep your gems, those purple, pink gems that you see on the left side of your screen. You keep those, and you can use them to purchase upgrades and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So the lore behind this game is basically it's being built around Lovecraftian lore. So obviously, if you know of the Lovecraft lore, then you will immediately know it is based around Cthulhu, and it's a kind of a fantasy, dark horror type of a setting. So the entire game is being built around that. So basically all of the monsters and bosses that you will be encountering, all of the art and the graphics in the game, all of that kind of stuff will have a influence, or will be influenced by the Lovecraftian lore and all of that. So, to be honest, I've played about 5 or 6 hours of the game so far. Basically, in the current version of the game, there's a map that you can choose which direction you want to go in. Usually you can pick around 3 different paths, and you can choose your kind of reward that you will be receiving when you complete that particular map. And basically, the long and the short of it is that you just have to kill everything on that map, and then you move on to the next map. That's basically dumbing down the mechanics of each and every map. But I mean, it's your general twin-stick shooter formula. Twin-stick shooter games are built around just basically killing everything in sight and unlocking stuff as you go. So the game also has a little bit of kind of a Risk of Rain feel to it. Obviously, if you've played Risk of Rain, you will know that you get these power-ups that you can pick up. Another game that I can probably compare it to is Slay the Spire. A lot of you will know Slay the Spire instead of Risk of Rain, maybe by using Risk of Rain as a reference point. I am probably confusing some of you, but Risk of Rain and Slay the Spire, all of those games have power-ups that you pick up along the way, and they make you progressively more powerful. Obviously, the enemies that you fight throughout the game also progresses and get more difficult, and in this game that is certainly also the case. The longer you go on, the deeper you go into the game, the more powerful and aggressive and dangerous the enemies become. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. So far I can already see that people who do like the twin stick shooter genre will like this game. Obviously, twin stick shooters do not appeal to everyone, so this game will not appeal to everyone. But if you did like Crimsonland, as I did, then you will certainly want to pick up this game. As I said, this game is still in early access, alpha version, so everything that you see here will not only change, but it will hopefully obviously get better. The graphics, the animation, the art, the different power-ups, the content, all of that will just get better and better. And yeah, as I said, I expect the game to cost around $15, maybe $20 when it fully releases, and it will release into early access on Steam around August of 2020, and then obviously maybe a year and a half after that the game will then fully release. So the game is not available on Steam right now, but I will still put a link to the Steam page in the description below, so that you guys can perhaps wishlist the game if you want to do so. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty cool twin stick shooter game, and you can certainly keep an eye out for it when it releases into early access in August. So yeah guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.